Now, Trump has declared war, and not on Canada, Greenland, or the Panama Canal, at least not yet. But instead, he's declared war on Barbie.
We'll put a 100% tariff on his toys, and he won't sell one toy in the United States, and that's their biggest market.
And not only has this instantly backfired on him, but it's revealed something a little more sinister that we'll discuss in a moment. By the way, speaking of being sinister, make sure you subscribe to our channel so we can hit 1 million followers and really stick it to MAGA. They absolutely hate this channel, so thanks for watching. Here's the deal. Trump and Fox News are always complaining about the war on Christmas, which is 100% fake. But ironically, Trump is declaring a war on toys that will be needed this holiday season.
Meanwhile, a number of toy companies and toy stores in the U.S. are now suing President Trump in an attempt to stop tariffs on Chinese imports. And one thing I learned here, Tiffany, is that the majority of toys that we see during the holiday season are made during these spring months. And if they are not arriving here and the factories start slowing down, that is, like you heard, really going to affect inventory.
Yeah, Trump wants to screw with Mattel, which is, of course, an American company with American workers, many of whom we can assume voted for Trump. So is Mattel going to bend the knee for King Trump?
Yeah, Mattel CEO told the Wall Street Journal the company plans to raise prices on toys due to tariffs. Now, the vast majority of toys sold in the U.S. are manufactured in China.
Which leads us into how this is backfiring on Trump, because if Mattel isn't going to suffer from these tariff increases, who will? Who's paying for this?
The Trump administration's tariff rate on toy imports from China is 145%.
A $10 toy that lands in the U.S. will now be $24.50 to land, and that is all being paid by these small and medium-sized businesses.
Yeah, mom and dads are going to be paying the price, and in true Grinch fashion, we're teeing up a disaster for this coming holiday season.
Toy production in China has all but stopped because of tariffs, and it's putting the holiday season at risk.
Every week that we're not producing toys in China is a week of supply that won't be available in November and December. So the longer this goes on, the fewer toys that will be available, which will create scarcity and obviously then pricing and disappointed families and kids.
As you just heard right there, toy manufacturing in China has all but stopped, and exports to America from China are down across the board. Yet Trump somehow thinks that empty store shelves that we're starting to see and we'll see more of, he thinks that's a good thing.
The ports here in the U.S., the traffic has really slowed, and now thousands of dock workers and truck drivers are worried about their jobs.
Yeah, no, that means we lose less money. You know, when I see that means we lose less money.
Yeah, he actually said that. Less imports means we're losing less. Just like breathing less makes you live longer, I guess. I mean, it's almost as if he's a total effing moron and does not understand how the economy works.
You know, to say it just sort of bluntly is that Trump doesn't understand the economy at all. And we're not losing money through deficits or global trade. You know, it's a transference of goods and capital for different needs. And in America, for example, the doll argument is absurd because really what Americans want is choice and low prices. And that's what's really driven capitalism since the beginning of time. But when people start losing jobs for real, it really dramatically affects real families. We're going to see a turn in sentiment against this administration if they don't come to terms with the fact that there isn't an immediate return to growth just when you completely, throw the whole trade, system into an imbalance. So what we could have is a pretty bad recession, and in the best case scenario, no growth.
You heard it. Best case scenario, we have no growth in our economy, and worst case, we have a recession. Merry Christmas, everybody. And this begs the question, why is Trump focusing on Mattel and dolls in general?
A young lady, a 10-year-old girl, 9-year-old girl, a 15-year-old girl doesn't need 37 dolls. She can be very happy with 2 or 3 or 4 or 5.
Well, hey, I'm glad he's admitting that prices are going to go up, but do you see the sinister thing happening here? Why does Trump keep mentioning little girls and dolls and has never once mentioned little boys and G.I. Joe toys? Because Trump wants to make our economy more masculine. Fun fact here, and this is true, the majority of service sector jobs in America are now held by women, and they want to shift that back to back-breaking factory work, which is dominated by men. They want to deprive kids of the joys of toys and set you on a path where you have no upward mobility as an adult. They want to make the patriarchy great again. And that's why Trump is going after Barbie.
You guys are clearly not doing patriarchy very well.
No, no,
We're doing it well. Yeah, we just hide it better now.
Yeah, they just hide it better now. But Trump has given away the game on this one. This war on toys, the war on Christmas, it's designed to prop up men and stick it to little girls. Which, if the Epstein files are ever released, I think we're all going to find out that Trump is an expert at sticking it to little girls. I don't have any proof of that, but a lot of people are saying, I hear it a lot. People are talking. And yeah, a lot of people are talking about really American media. So please like, comment, share. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to know, what do you think is the real reason that Trump is attacking Barbie and not G.I. Joe? I'm Steve Harness from the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve podcast for Really American Media.